Preserving the Endangered Species Act by Sarah Fine Kogel. We need to preserve the Endangered Species Act of 1973 so that we can protect the rich biodiversity that lives on the planet. On December 28, 1973, President Nixon signed the Endangered Species Act, which has been one of the most effective environmental acts ever put into action. It states that humans will work together to protect and restore species that are most at risk of extinction. The issue today is that there is much opposition to the Endangered Species Act. Scientists estimate that there are at least 500 species of animal that have gone extinct in the 200 years since the European settlements began. The Endangered Species Act has both helped to slow this extinction of animals or to even bring animals back that were once in danger of extinction. The Endangered Species Act has been put into place with three goals in mind: to list species that are threatened or endangered, to designate habitat that is necessary for their survival, and to restore healthy populations of the species so that they can be removed from the list. There are currently 1,250 species on the list that have been affected in some way by this act. Because of the Endangered Species Act, species that have been recovered, protected, and stabilized. This also means that habitats necessary for these animals have also been recovered, protected, and stabilized as well. These might be areas of beaches, wetlands, and forests where these species may live. Part of the Endangered Species Act is that these species that are on the list not only have protection by being placed in zoos or sanctuaries, but that they should be able to live in wild habitats and thrive in their native conditions. That is one of the ultimate goals of the Endangered Species Act. Although there are some extinctions that are the result of such nature, such as meteors or other natural disasters, different species are also subject to the devastation of human interaction and development that has come onto their land. In this type of endangering that the Endangered Species Act wishes to cease. My argument is for continuing support of the Endangered Species Act. We, as a species ourselves, need to remember that we share the planet with so many other species. Some of these that have been here long before man ever came, some of those species which have been here since the dawn of time and have evolved into the species we see today. We have also caused some of the destruction to habitats and other devastation that puts some of those species on the list today. Humans have, in some cases, made the list of endangered species longer because they speed up the process of the animals becoming endangered. Take, for example, our nation's symbol, the bald eagle. Because of deforestation causing habitat loss, as well as hunting and even using pesticides such as DDT, this put the bald eagle on the endangered species list. It is because of the decrease in these animals, our symbol for American pride, that the act was passed in 1973. Although some may argue that the Endangered Species Act should be upheld because of the scientific answers that animal science may hold, it is not only for these reasons, but also because these animals also have a right to share our planet. Humans have moved into so many areas and taken up space. In most cases, we have ruined the land or changed it so that species that have been living here long before us have moved out, or are subject to decrease in their population. In many cases, humans just move into an area and start clearing the land, using it for development without considering what animals might be living there. At what cost to that species? This is especially troubling when humans have so much space that has already been taken up and is not even being used. We have no problem with stores that are long gone, but we have left their buildings up, rather than use these buildings, and thus the natural space is already being used. We instead tear down other natural areas to build a new store. Why, when there is a perfectly empty store building a block away? Humans are also dependent in other ways to animals that are some that may not even realize. They are used for scientific purpose, such as with medical innovations, and in ways provide for our tourism in many places. This is not even stating the obvious that the planet may be ours, but it is for us to share. Many feel that humans have power over the other animals. While that may seem that we are the more powerful species, we owe it to the other species to act in ways that allow them to live among us. Because the Endangered Species Act exists, there are so many species that were at one time listed on it, and thanks to the goals of the Species Act some of the animals on the list have been recovered. Species included in this list may be the American alligator, the Arctic peregrine falcon, gray whale, 3 types of kangaroo, and the brown pelican, just to name a few. While some might think that a few animals that go extinct is no big deal, and because of this they oppose the Endangered Species Act. There have been several attempts to stop the act in recent years, although so far they have not. It would be truly a devastating end to many species if that were to occur. Political opposition has met many a match in Washington with people who uphold the Endangered Species Act. Those who oppose the act have tried tactics such as delaying the listing process and the habitat protection. Funding in many cases has also been slowed for the act, causing other animals to be added to the list when their species is depending on it. In order to continue to share this gracious planet we call home, we need to reconsider the opposition to the Endangered Species Act and be sure that we can protect and provide habitats and ensure that future generations of these animals continue. If you would like more information on the Endangered Species Act, please visit the website www.earthjustice.org.